Hello, Africa. You're welcome to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. This is the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. How have you been? I am so excited to meet you today. And the topic of discussion is one that excites me so much. You see my hair well adorned with a fascinator. We are talking headpieces today. And I've got very lively and bubbly millionaires here who will talk to us about how to choose our headpieces to be able to make that fashion statement that people will be wondering about. But before we get to go there, we are going to be having our 60 seconds update where we tell you what's happening with women here in Ghana, across Africa and the world. However, today's edition is going to be talking to us about how hats actually evolved, the church hats, how they evolved across America. So do stay tuned as we show you this.
Minnesota. All right, it is not unusual to attend church service or a funeral in the Black community and see women wearing gorgeous hats. They're bold, they're beautiful, and they do carry cultural significance. The history of church hats runs deep, and there is a new exhibit in the city of Minneapolis celebrating the women who wear them. Our friend Adrian takes us there.
Aretha Franklin introduced and reintroduced an example of church hats in the African American culture. That hat, with the pristine bow, stole the show when she sang at President Obama's inauguration. But the crown on Aretha's head is more than a fashion statement for Black women. And on display, an exhibit called Grace, uncovering the meaning behind church hats.
There are references in different historical books that indicated that during slavery times, women who worked in the slave owners' homes were asked to cover their heads because the slave owner perhaps didn't like the grade of their hair or didn't want their hair shown.
It features portraits and paintings of women from around the Twin Cities in hats. It's at the Minnesota African American Heritage Museum and Gallery in North Minneapolis. Hats became a way for Black women to express individuality and creativity during slavery and under the Jim Crow laws. On Sunday, the day of worship allowed African American women who worked as domestic servants a chance to showcase their style. It was also the only day they could break away from their uniform. They favored bold and bright hats to accent their elaborate outfits, which served as a way to honor God. Many Christians follow scripture, which says women must cover their heads during worship.
Covering themselves in some manner for their worship on Sundays.
And the photographer behind the exhibit,
I write stories, I publish,
wears many hats.
I ride a bike. This is who I am. Yeah, I know hats, I know material, I know the milliners, I know the milliners from all over the country. So, yeah, I know about hats.
They're really over the top.
It's just part of the tradition.
Griffin's admiration started decades ago.
I photographed thousands of people in hats.
His fascination has led him around the country explaining the deep history.
When I was about 8 years old, my father had some friends, and the lady of the family was a milliner. I was captivated, you know, just to sit there. They would be talking, and over the course of 3 or 4 hours, she would create 6 or 7 hats. I mean, I just could not believe that, you know, it was beautiful.
Indeed, church hats are a big part of history. Many of the women photographed said their mothers, grandmothers, and aunts wore church hats. The tradition continues today. Here's a photo of me and my mom taken Sunday of us in our church hats, prompting us to raise the question, what does a hat say about someone?
I'm wearing my art. I'm confident. I look good. I feel inspired. That's what it says.
Wow, now you have an understanding of how church hats began to become a fashion statement across the Black community in America. We are right here in Ghana, Africa, and we are talking hats today because there's a beautiful program coming up and it's about the Hats Fair. It was organized for the first time last year. This is the second edition, and we are so excited about it. I've got members of the Milliners Network Ghana gracing our studio today, and on my left, I have Chumwa. She's the president of the association, and I am so excited to have her next to me because she's so good when it comes to putting all these pieces together. And even putting this entire event together is also part of her initiative. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so next to her we have Beatrice. You see how she's adorned herself in this beautiful piece. Is that supposed to be a fascinator, or what would you call this one?
This is a fascinator.
It's a fascinator, right? We'll get to understand the difference between the heart and the fascinator and the heartinators. They will explain to us. And then, to my extreme, this is one lady that gives me so much joy because of the way she brands herself. She always calls herself a Muskie to the world, a Maxi to the sky, you know, and I love it. I love the way she really always portrays her brand, and it's one exciting brand. Everyone, please join me as I make welcome or as I introduce to you Rita. Rita, how are you?
Thank you. I'm well.
Great. So what would you call the headpiece you're wearing?
This is also a fascinator.
Ah.
It's a leather fascinator.
Great. We're going to get to the training part because I saw you training some ladies in the area of the leather fascinator, and I even saw Chumwa there as well. You see? Beatrice, were you there?
No, I was
You were not
shaking
there.
it.
Okay. So what are you also wearing?
A fascinator.
A fascinator. Great. I see some other pieces right here. Could you just point to them and let us know what they are, like the one in the golden one?
A fascinator.
Okay.
Yes, a heart.
There's a heart.
And then there's a tiara. Or
For brides?
Yes, hair vine.
Okay.
Fascinator made with leather, and then another fascinator with feathers and crinoline
Wow.
with some pearls.
That is beautiful. Whoa. So the one we call the head vine, is this something that if you're not a bride, you can still try to wear, or it's only for brides, or maybe based on the color, brides will be wearing it, or maybe you have a naming ceremony and then you want to use it?
Absolutely. Usually the brides go in for it, but in recent times, people having naming or engagements will also go for it. It depends on how sophisticated it is and how you intend to use it. You could have a hairstyle that is held up, and you can wrap the vine around it very beautifully.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be as broad as this, so it depends on how you are going to use it.
Okay. So because it drops this way, it means that your hair doesn't have to be busy?
No, it doesn't have to be busy. A very sleek sort of hairstyle will do for it.
Fantastic. All right, so we have an understanding of what we are talking about. We've got fascinators here, we've got the head vine, and we're going to be letting you know how you can really take care of your headpieces, because very important. Times are really hard, and people do not want to use stuff and then dump them. So tonight we're going to get to understand how we get to choose our headpieces and how we get to take care of them and what works for a particular occasion. And then I'll open the phone lines for you to be able to call in, and then our Facebook page, you can also ask us some questions. They're going to be responding to them. So we are ready for this very beautiful ride when it comes to the world of headpieces. So, you know, when we look at the wig, for instance, because wigs are in vogue now, and you go to certain places, they tell you that, oh, here we don't actually sew the wigs, we do just revamping. So if you have an old wig, we can just make it look fresh, make it look nice for you, and then you can wear it again and it feels like new. Can we have such when it comes to our headpieces? Who would I start with? Let me start with you, Beatrice.
Okay, for revamping of headpieces, it's possible. That is if the milliner who made the piece went with the technique of stitching.
Okay.
So if it was stitched and well done with needle and thread, we could just cut like the same way seamstresses and fashion designers redesign our clothes.
Okay.
So we just cut and re-sew or re-iron everything and put it all together again. But if it wasn't well done with the right technique and probably the milliner used glue to work, that one, it's very hard to get it back. You can't do it back. You can't get it back to the right shape. Yeah.
Right. So it means that if you actually want to get a headpiece that can be revamped, you need to look at the way it was put together. If it's the stitched type, then there's a chance that it could be revamped, right? So I'm asking, would you want to add something to it, or you totally agree with
I
her?
agree with her.
Okay.
You may also want to consider the material that was used for the headpiece. If it's cinnamon, yes, you can pull it apart and then sew it, iron it and sew it like she said.
Okay.
But if it's leather, it's going to be hard to do anything to it. So very important, just keep your headpieces very clean in a cool, dry place so that you don't have to revamp or redesign it.
Okay, so we're talking about how we store or how we keep our headpieces in the right place. Let me ask you, Chimwa, what would be your suggestion about how we can take care of our headpieces?
After wearing your hair piece, you can just air dry it, probably because if it's a hat, probably because the inside may have some sweat in.
And makeup.
So
Makeup.
you could use the wipe to just wipe the makeup or the dirt, and then air dry, and then you put it in a box. If you have a hat box, you can put it in a box, or if you have something like the mannequin, you could equally put it on and then cover it with a polythene.
Okay. Wow. So that's one way of protecting it. I'm asking, what would you say about some people use maybe some kind of brush, maybe an old toothbrush, and then they dip it in detergent, and then they are brushing it on the corners. Is that supposed to be a right thing to do? You don't subscribe to that?
Sometimes we have dyed the headpiece. If you put water, any sort of water in it, it's going to, run out. The dye and color is going to run out. So
Okay.
you don't do that.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an important point. So for those of us who have always used detergent and old brushes, to be brushed in the corner because we feel that, okay, there's makeup stains on it, so we need to get it off, you are actually not doing the best, for your headpieces. So you just need to air dry it and then use a wipe to, wipe
Gently
it
clean
clean.
it.
And that's it. If you have a box, you put it inside a box, or you
Yes.
could just hang it up on a mannequin. Okay, so for those of us who don't have the mannequin or maybe enough boxes, because the boxes sometimes could be cumbersome, it's going to take up a whole lot of space, and now a lot of women are into headpieces, so you could have like 10 to 15, and then you can imagine all of that. So, we have this hanger, that you could just hang stuff on. Are we able to hang our headpieces on such things as well? You see those hook-like stuff that they can just nail to the wall, or it's not the best way?
I don't think it's the best because of the air that blows away. It comes with sand and dust all over the place. So before you realize it's dusty. And it's something you can't wash. But in a box, for
It's
it to
protected.
be dusty, it's very hard for it to be dusty in a box. It's well protected. It's in shape, the
Okay.
way you got it. So I think the box is perfect.
The box,
So
box is perfect.
to add to it, if you think you are having too many boxes, just get one big box.
Okay.
And then put each one in a separate rubber and then put in the box. So you don't
Okay.
have a lot of boxes to deal with.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
would be-
fantastic.
I also think that if you don't have the box, just in case you don't have the box, you can hang them, but then it should be in a polythene so that it protects them from
Getting
dust.
stained.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, I get to ask our milliners about how to travel with our headpieces. When you're moving, you pack your small box and you're moving, and you have this, headpiece that you want to use and make a fashion statement. How do you put it in a pack to travel? We'll find that out when we return. Do not go away. And you are welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. We are talking Ghana Hearts Fair, and we are also talking about how to protect your headpiece. And I said just before we went on the break that when we return, I'm going to be asking our milliners how to travel with our headpieces. Remember, you could be having a wedding or an event that is not within the state or the region that you find yourself, so you need to move. And here is the case, our headpieces are very delicate, and if you don't handle them well, it could maybe turn the wrong way or get squeezed up, and you're not going to like the effect eventually. So how do we travel with our headpieces and still have it intact? with our issues. So who should I start with? Let me start with you, Amaski.
There are hard boxes that come with handles.
Okay.
So you could easily get one of those. Anytime you are traveling, you put your fascinator in it and hold it like a
traveling
handy
box.
bag.
Okay.
Yes, and then go with it. Because you are right, fascinators can be very delicate. If you put it in your luggage with all the items on it, it's going to squish it and you may not like the outcome. So when you get one of those boxes, they are very good.
Okay, so Beatrice, these boxes, do you make them or people need to go buy them themselves, Beatrice?
Oh, we have vendors who are into boxes.
Oh.
They are into boxes. So with that, depending on the size of the fascinator, you determine the size and the kind of shapes on it. Then you give it to the one in charge of box making to fit.
Okay.
So it can't just be any kind of box. It depends on the size of the fascinator.
Okay.
So we have other milliners too who have also gone through training of boxes. They do it for themselves because they know their clients will need it to preserve their pieces. But other ones too, if you don't have someone, and if you can't make it yourself, you can order online. There are people who are into box making.
Boxes.
Then you just give them the size of the piece and then they just do to fit for you.
Right. Talking about the size of the piece, I'm going to be asking Chumwa this question. You know, some people feel like they have big heads, some think their heads are small, some think that they have, you know, protruding ears. What kind of headpiece works for people that have these concerns?
I think that, okay, so the average head size of a normal female is 21 inches to 23 inches.
Okay.
Yes. And so usually if you are going to make a headpiece for someone, you can also find out from them what type of hair they are going to have on. If they are going to have the braids on, then you know what type of hairband to use. So you can either use the comb to make it firm. You can also use the Alice band with a comb attached to it, and then you can also use the elastic. So depending on, you can equally find out from them which type of base they are comfortable with.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So would you want to add something, Rita? Maybe for
Yes.
people who feel that, okay, their ears are protruding, are they supposed to wear something like what she has, where one side of your ear is covered up?
Well, if you have the opportunity to be at the milliner's workshop and try on pieces, that would be the best ideal.
Approach.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that you can try as many and see which one is more flattering to your style, and then you take that. However, in our dispensation now, we do more of online.
Online.
Yes. So then you are going to have, like Chumwa said, you are going to have a lot of in-depth discussion with the client as to what will be comfortable for the person, and then you work around it. That's not the ideal situation, but with online shopping, I mean, you just have to you have to come up with a solution. So discussion, lots of discussion would help.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think that you have to sometimes consider the shape of the individual's face. I think it also helps you to choose what kind of headpiece to do for them.
Okay. So now what you have in your head works for you because of the shape of your face?
Probably, but I also feel this is something quick you can fix for yourself. Yes, if you have an event to attend and you are in a hurry, you can just make something simple like this.
And you're on the move.
Yes, it projects, if you have, for instance, if you have a pony, you could do this, it projects your face a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And if considering height too, you can do something that can project your height.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, you know, if you just want to feel a bit taller, you could have something like this, and it would really work.
Of course. Let me add that in choosing headpieces, like she said, it's very important you see the size of the head, because if you have a petite face and you get a broad brimmed hat, it's going to look a bit overwhelming on you. So you might have to consider something smaller, or if even it's going to be big, then it should be tilted at a certain angle so that your face can be seen.
Great, great.
Also, to add up to what she said, your kind of hairstyle matters a lot. So oftentimes you have to, let the milliner know your hairstyle.
But
Not
are there
every
particular hairstyles that work for a lot of the pieces?
Okay, for hairstyles, the one particular hairstyle that fits for all, I think is pony.
The pony.
Especially if the hair is going back or lower back.
Okay,
If
and not
it's
the one high up
Not the
here.
high up. If it's a ponytail, lower back, it goes with a hat, it goes with a hatinator, fascinator, any kind of piece goes, once there's a band under it. The only one that probably might not really work is a big hat with a crown. That one, it goes for long hair, weave-ons. That is okay. But with pony, it might even be okay if the ponytail is lower.
Okay.
Yes. But for pony, I think it goes with most of fascinators. But one other one that is not too comfortable with all of it is weave-ons.
The
If you are not
weave-ons.
careful, it might slip off. Probably as you are dancing, as you are having fun at the wedding, it might slip off. And when you have a comb attached like what I have here, if it's not your own hair, it might not fit in. It
Yeah.
will fall off. Because the wig is sewn. There's a cap underneath.
Underneath.
So it might not fit. So the hairstyle also matters. You have to discuss it with your milliner, what you're wearing. So if you see a piece someone is wearing, and the person is wearing it with a pony hair, you can't do that piece with weave-on. You might
Wow.
probably want the same thing, but what you are wearing with is not the same. So the person will end up coming back telling you, it didn't look the way I saw in the picture.
And that was because they chose the wrong
The
hairstyle.
so it won't fit. So it does matter. You have to discuss it.
So please discuss with your milliner whenever you're making your choices, because your choice of hairstyle could either make or mar that fashion statement that you're trying to project. So now let's go over to training, because we've talked about the heart and how beautiful it makes us to look. We'll still come back to who wears what. For instance, a lot of pastors' wives are wearing hats now. We'll talk about that. But I'm sure those who are watching right now will want to know what's going on with training, because we need a lot more people to engage in this service that you're offering. And I wanted to know, is everyone here offering training services, or the network offers services, generally? How does it work for you?
Okay, so individual milliners do trainings, but we also do training for milliners, because every day you have new techniques coming up. And so you need to equip yourself with those techniques so that as new techniques come, because you may have a milliner coming to you. You may have a client coming to you. I want this type of fascinator. If you don't have that technique of doing it, how do you do it? And so you need to learn. Yes.
So the network organizes training, aside the people themselves organizing individual training?
Yes.
Oh, great, great. So if we can, I see something happening here. I think I saw this on Rennie's Glitters platform. So that's some training going on there.
Yeah.
And also, if we can see the leather hat, this one, good. That's our mosquito award. So you were awarding certificates to them, right? You
Yes.
taught them how to do special pieces. And what piece was that? The leather one you're talking
That was
about?
the leather fascinator making.
Okay, so what is a new style to us? Is it something that is new to us now
Well,
that you're
I
trying to?
think leather is not that popular in Ghana. It's
Okay.
now that it's catching on. Yes.
Okay.
It's not that popular.
So what can you tell us about the leather fascinator? What does it come with? Just because it's leather? Or it has this unique look or appeal it gives to an individual? Or it's because it's just a different material?
Yes.
So let us try to appreciate the leather kind of fascinator.
Yes. The working with leather, it's a bit difficult. It involves a lot of work. But because of how the colors are very bright, you can have very bright colors of the leather, and when you put it together, it's very beautiful. Also, keeping it is very easy. You can easily use a duster if it's dusty. You can just use a duster and clean the top of the leather, and that is it. Yes. Unlike the tsunami, where if the dust goes in, it's a bit difficult,
It's difficult
to
to
get it
actually get to that point
Yes.
where it's penetrating.
Yes.
Okay, wow, that's fantastic. Viewers, I had to go for another quick commercial break because people are sponsoring the show and we need to hear their message. When we return, I'm going to our Facebook page to read your messages. So if you haven't sent yours, send it right away. Do not go away. You're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show, and I am having a good time with the Millionaires Network Ghana, the organizers of Ghana Heart Fair 2022. And this is the second edition. So I said I was going to our Facebook page to see what your comments are looking like. And I see Esinam Siva. She says, you ladies are looking amazing. And, you know, she's giving us such very beautiful emojis. I see Nana Koba. He says, size matters. Okay. Naomi Kweku says, hey, but the blue one too no be easy. What a beautiful obstruction. And that should be the one that Beatrice is wearing. Okay, then Nana comes and says, but the blue one too no be easy. Okay, they are all saying the same thing. Nana Koba is laughing. And then Ifwa Hagan comes out to say, this is what Nana Koba doesn't like, the obstruction. Well, men, get used to it, okay? Yeah. Ladies, this is how we make our fashion statement. So when we have our fascinators on, please give us way so that we can actually express ourselves as we want. Yabriago Ose Asibi says, well done, ladies. Doreen Adubevel, Rennie's Glitters. She says, well done, ladies. And then Ifwa Hagan comes back. Sistering, I called you. Which of you did she call that she did not respond? Doreen also says, Rennie's Glitter, she says, oh, looking good, Miss T. And she sent me the heart emoji. Thank you so much. Mavis Wiredu Minta says, Rita, you are really looking sweet.
Thank you.
Then Yabriago comes back. She says, really? Then I guess on my other phone, I didn't see you. Sorry. Okay, so that means it's Yabriago that was called and she couldn't pick. All right, no problem. Now, Shelley, DeLorean says, love this. B looks amazing. Beatrice, you see the blue one that is the obstruction is getting a lot of fans. Gifty Ejare Mensa Saji says, well done, ladies. Asinam Sivers comes back. Come and support our second edition Heart Fair Ghana all the way. Yes. All right. So she's calling on people to support the Ghana Heart Fair, and it's happening this month. We're going to have the ladies give us the details of when it's going to be happening and where it's going to be happening. And we want everyone to move to this particular place, to ask the questions they need to ask, to understand, you know, headpieces, how to wear them, how to take care of them, and even how to get trained. So you can even start your own business in it. You see how the ladies are looking really beautiful? It goes a long way to say that there could be some kind of good revenue there if you put your heart to it. And now people are looking for extra income streams. Last year I was part, this year I'm part. I realized that we had professionals who were also into millinery work. We had medical doctors, we had pharmacists, we had teachers, we had lawyers, we had engineers, we had people from various professions who actually have their work, everyday work, and also had millinery on the side because it's something that has come to stay and a lot of people are beginning to embrace it. So reach out to them at the Ghana Hearts Fair to be able to get the services that you're going to be looking for, right? So now that I have introduced the Ghana Hearts Fair, let's come over to you. When is it happening?
So the second edition of the Ghana Hearts Fair comes off this Saturday, just this Saturday, at the Holiday Inn from 9 a.m.
From 9 a.m. Yes. And, you know, looking at what I've seen here, it's just a tip on the iceberg. So it means that as you approach the place, you begin to see stuff. You see the violence. Nana Koba, you see the violence. The various headpieces will be greeting you as you come in. So you not even need to ask questions. Oh, where is the Ghana Hearts Fair happening? Because the moment you get there, you will see it for yourself. So it's happening this Saturday, that's the 12th of November, at the Holiday Inn, and it's at 9 a.m. So from 9 a.m. to what time?
To about 7 p.m.
Okay. So even if you are going for a wedding, if you can, pass through, get your headpiece and go for the wedding. Okay? So if you have to get to the wedding first too, on your way back, come and get a headpiece to go to church on Sunday with. So it works for you, all right? You need to have something new, you know, to dazzle. and make the statement that you need to make. And as mentioned earlier, this is the second edition. Let me ask you again, Chumwa, what have you learned from the first edition that you're going to be kind of improving on for the second one?
All right. So during the first edition, we learned a lot of lessons. Yes, with regards to venue.
Okay.
With regards to
venue.
That's why we have changed venue this time around. And the feedback we are getting is very great, very massive.
People want to see the Hearts Fair again.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So what was it about the venue? They felt it was too small, or it was in a place that they couldn't locate easily?
Location was one of the challenges.
Okay, okay, right. So, Maski, is there something else you would like to share concerning the experiences you had last year that, I mean, will be different for us this year? Or Chumo has captured it all?
She has, but I would say, looking at the first edition and the number of people or the traffic that came in, it means that Ghanaians are recognizing millinery as a contributing factor to the economy. So they are showing a lot of interest in millinery. And so I'm hoping that this second time around, we'll even see more people come in and look at our beautiful headpieces and make some purchases.
That's great. So now let's let them know your handle. So let them know if they want to actually, you know, contact you. See, because what you're wearing right now looks really beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
that they can check you out on Facebook or Instagram.
All right. I'm on IG. I am Amaski GH. Amaski _
Amaski is AMASKI.
Amaski to the sky. Amaski GH. Same on Facebook.
Okay.
And my number is 020-400-5729.
Great.
Or 055-322-8609.
Fantastic. I'm happy we are streaming on Facebook. So even if you didn't get the number, you can always watch it again and pick up the number, okay? So, Beatrice, let us know.
Okay, so on IG is Vivera Millinery. And
Vivera.
Accessories, yeah.
Okay, please spell it for us, okay?
Vivera, Vivera. Millinery.
That's it.
Accessories, yeah.
Okay.
And on
Vivera
Facebook is Mame Kusiwa Adai.
Okay.
That's my personal Facebook page. Yeah.
Mame Kusiwa
But I post
Adai.
most of my stuff there too. Yeah.
Nice one.
Exactly. And my number is 0248688584.
Great.
Thank you.
Heads Up Millinery, that's Chumwa. So please let them know. Well, head up, heads up. You know, heads is very, very easy to remember. Heads Up Millinery. That's what I know her to be. Or is there a different one?
No.
It's Heads Up Millinery,
Heads
right?
Up Millinery. Yes.
Okay, so share your number with them as well.
020-229-6088 and then 0244-226-333. Yes, so one thing we also left out is that this time around, we have something for our men.
Okay.
So our grandparents, our daddies, our uncles, and our nephews, we are expecting that they will come because this time around we have something for the men. We have men's hats. Yes.
Great. We have men's headpieces coming this time around. Last year it was just about the women, but today we want both the women and the men to come together so that when mommy picks something, daddy will pick and pick for the son and pick for the nephew, you know, and the cousin and all of that. So everybody gets to get a headpiece when they come to the Ghana Hearts Fair on 12th November at the Holiday Inn from 9 a.m. Okay, so we'll still reiterate it, okay? But let's move on with our conversation about our headpieces and who wears what. Is there a particular way the mother of the bride should look on the day of her daughter's wedding in terms of what she's wearing on her head? Because sometimes you see that once the mother of the bride appears, you kind of know that this is the mother of the bride. I don't know. How do you conceive it? What do you really do?
For me, I consider the mother of the bride to be just after the bride.
Yeah.
The mother of the bride is quite important because it's also an honor for her getting her daughter married. So it should be seen. The headpiece doesn't necessarily have to be big, but it should be outstanding. Yes, it should stand out so that as soon as the person comes out, you know that this is the mother of the bride.
The bride.
It could be a full hat, it could be a fascinator, but it should be well coordinated with a dress and everything.
It should be well coordinated with her dress.
dress. Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that about the mothers of the bride. So once you just see them, you know
You
this
know this is
must
the
be
mother.
the mother of the bride.
Right.
Beautiful. So I saw this picture. The director moved up. There was a bride, and you know the net-like thing that was, you know, on her face.
Okay.
All right. So it's got a cape, right?
That is the bird
No,
cage.
bird
A
cage
bird
Bird
cage.
cage veil. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so not everyone wants to wear
Do veil.
the traditional veil.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in for this stylish way of covering just part of the face. Yes, and it looks very beautiful.
It really does look beautiful. Now, moving over to the pastor's wife and the lady pastor herself. You see, I'm seeing this, and this looks really, really beautiful. I saw it on Rennie's Glitter's page, and that's a pastor. And it looks like it's cutting across. We have a lot of women ministers now, you know, adorning themselves in, you know, kind of sophisticated, you know, headpieces. It's always really big. Is that how it's supposed to be?
I think with the pastors' wives, some of them, there are some churches that is part of their way of looking
Okay.
as pastors' wives.
All right.
I don't know if I'm allowed to mention some churches, but some is part of how they should look for church.
Yeah, because they need to cover their
Cover
hair.
their
Yes.
And they probably don't want to
go
wear
with
the
the
scarf.
scarf.
but they want to go a bit
So
stylish and
then a
fashionable.
broad fascinator or hat will do.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's always broad. So I was
Yes.
wondering, is that supposed
So
to be
that
it?
covers the
Yes.
hair.
And I think also female pastors, sometimes when they are doing their coronation,
Yes.
they are asked to wear hats.
Hats.
Yeah. They're asked to wear hats.
Wow. Wow, that's really beautiful. I also came across another one, the groom's sister. Can we see the groom's sister and her look? Take a look at this. Wow, this was fantastic.
Beautiful.
You know, and she really made a statement with how she looked like, and I really appreciate it. But how should a groom sister look like? Should she look really gorgeous like this, or because she's going to be busy on the day? Because I'm really wondering how she's able to do all of this and still be able to coordinate stuff. Or maybe they have a protocol person who is handling stuff for them.
Now, most of the time, they have protocols.
Okay.
So she wants to look good
Yes.
because she's virtually not doing most of the
Much.
errands because the
Okay.
protocol is there. So she wants to look good. And so that the pictures, you know, she'll
Come out
flaunt it all
really
over. Yeah.
nice.
In fact, some are very particular about their headpieces. The groom's sister, the bride's mom, they will tell you, I want it elegant, very big. There, I have arrived type of hat.
I have arrived kind of hat. And on that I have arrived kind of hat note, we go for our final commercial break, okay? When we return, we wrap up. Do not go away. And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices Show. We are wrapping up, and we are looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, on the 12th of November, for the Ghana Hearts Fair. I'm going back to the comment section to read some of the comments that are dropping in. So I see Efwa Hagan, she says, we are proud of you ladies. And Nana Koba comes and says, nothing for the husbands and the boyfriends. Efwa Hagan comes back to say, the man is looking for violence. This man is looking for violence. So there are hats for men too. Why? Okay. Then Nana Koba comes and says, okay, all jokes aside, these hats are very nice pieces of art. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Nana Koba. And then he says to Efwa Hagan, Efwa says, oh, she mentioned grandpas, uncles, and sons. I guess the obstruction has blocked the husbands and the boyfriends. So the obstruction on your head has blocked the husbands. And then he says, Leanne Kofi is one female pastor I know. She loves hats and wears very powerful ones too. Yeah, Apostle Leanne Kofi. All jokes aside, these hats are very nice pieces of art. He says it again. And then Ifwa says, talk through, come to the fair and get obstructed. All right, so please, I don't know if I've not read your message. I've tried to read as much as I can. But ladies, if you find anyone that I may have skipped, we can just draw my attention to it before we wrap up. So please let me know again or reiterate the day, the time, and the venue for the Ghana Hearts Fair.
So it's on Saturday, the 12th of November at 9 a.m. at
Okay.
the Holiday Inn Hotel. And then at 4 p.m., we'll have a runway.
The runway of the hats. So different milliners are going to be showcasing the pieces that they've got.
Yes.
Wow.
Models will do that for us.
For them. Great. Do you have any final words? Is there money in this millinery business? There's money in it, right?
It's a full-time profession.
Okay. It's a full-time profession. I'm asking, would you want to add anything?
Yeah, we are hoping to see a lot of people on Saturday. So they should come in and have a good time with us.
Great.
And again,
Grab
I
as
think
many headpieces
Pieces
as
as
you
possible.
we'll have an auction.
Oh, so it will
So
actually
you
be a
can
lot
bid.
cheaper.
Yes, you can bid. Whoever wins, you pick it up.
Pick it up. Whoa. It's going to be fantastic. Do not miss the Ghana Hearts Fair on the 12th of November at the Holiday Inn from 9 a.m. Do not miss it, okay? It's a chance for you to be able to get headpieces for cheaper, beautiful ones. You have a lot of them displaying, so you've got a lot of variety to actually choose from. So until we meet over there at the Ghana Hearts Fair, I want you to enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.